Good evening, YouTube. This is a energy-packed night. It's just full of all abundance and all kinds of marvelous things are happening. And it's just, I just wonder if you are feeling the presence of abundant energy this evening. The abundant energy is all present. It's completely present. I mean, all abundance of energy is present right now there with you. It's we've got to realize that we were created in the image of God, and in the beginning was the Word. John said 1:1 said, "In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God." And in Genesis it says we are created in the image of God. We were created with abundant energy. But what has happened is we have continually subtracted and interfered with that energy which we've subtracted from the image of God. We subtracted from the abundant energy which was in the beginning, and we continue to interfere and dam up our energy. And so we have abundant energy, but we've got to stop interfering with it. We've got wealth and abundance and radiant energy and all of that given to us by the image of God in which we were created, and that we're one with infinite mind. Therefore, we're one with all abundance, but we keep damming up our source. We keep interfering with it by bringing in doubts and fears, and we'll say, I'm afraid maybe that God is really not love. God is not all love. We'll say, I'm afraid that mine really is not infinite. Well, I'm afraid that somebody else out there, maybe they have more energy than I do. Somebody else has more intelligence. I'm afraid somebody else might have more intelligence or creative power than I do. I'm afraid to try anything because I'm afraid that the universe will let me down. I'm afraid that the infinite mind won't supply the thoughts that I need to do those things that I need to do. And so when we do that, we dam up our energy. We're damming up our energy source that we were created with, that we were given in the beginning. In the beginning, the word and that we were given was God. In the beginning, our blessing and our abundance and our energy was one with infinite mind. But what did we do? We didn't believe in infinite mind. We didn't believe that the infinite mind was present with us. So we started subtracting by saying, I feel limited. I have lack. I don't believe I can do it. I don't believe that the universe will stand behind me if I try to accomplish something great. And so what we do, we subtracted. But when you stop subtracting and interfering with the flow of infinite energy, then what's left? The only thing left then is wealth. See, we think that wealth and energy and abundance is something that we have to begin somewhere, and we keep adding to our wealth, and we keep adding to our abundance, and and if we keep adding to our wealth and our abundance for long enough, pretty soon we'll be very wealthy and very, very abundant. When actually it's just the opposite. We started out with abundance and wealth, which because that's what we were all given by God, by being created in the image of God. But then every day we subtract a little bit from that by the thoughts we think. Our negative thoughts subtract away, and subtract a little away from that wealth, and subtract a little away from that abundance, and subtract a little bit away from our health and our abundance, all of our energy and our wonderful, beautiful thoughts. We subtract a little away from our joy every day by the thoughts that we think. And if we stop subtracting from those, then we'd find that actually the remainder is wealth. Rather than what is added is wealth, the remainder would be wealth. When we stop subtracting from it, all that we would have would be wealth and abundance. And so if we would need to stop and consider all those ways in which we're subtracting from it, we have to ask ourselves, what is the real significance of the omnipresence and omniscience of God. And what is the real significance of mind being infinite? And what is the real significance of our mind being one with God's mind? And what is the real significance of God being all present and omnipotent love? What is the implication to me of all this power which is omnipotent and good at the same time? What is the significance of the fact that anywhere I was to go in the universe, to any galaxy, to any planet in the universe, infinite mind, God is there, and therefore infinite love is there? What is the significance that anywhere I go, infinite power is there, omnipotent God is there, infinite mind is there? Any location on the face of the earth I would go. Infinite mind is there. In Him we live and move and have our being. What is the significance that we never can go anywhere in the universe where there's not the infinite presence of omnipotent love and omnipotent energy and omnipotent power and all of these good things? What is the significance of that? And why do I just keep subtracting from it by saying, well, it's not present with me. I don't believe I have it. I don't believe I can do it. I don't believe I can access the source of good. I don't believe I have access to anything wonderful. I don't believe I can manifest. I've tried to manifest and can't manifest. And we keep subtracting away rather than just stopping and declaring that we have all abundance, and knowing that as we begin to raise our awareness to what really exists rather than trying to add to what exists, then we'll realize that we have everything that we need and it's all already there. Uh, we spend our lifetime trying to add to God and trying to make God more than what He is already, and trying to add to the abundance that He is. We try to add to the love that God is. We try to add to the power that God is by gaining more power of our own accord that we can call our own power or our own wealth or our own riches. We try to lay hold on something that we can say, well, this is all mine. This has nothing to do with the universe or infinite mind or God or anything else. This is mine. This belongs to me personally. I'm my personal wealth. And so by doing that, we subtract from we attempt to subtract from infinite mind, which is really already all good. We need to stop, and what we need to do, stop detracting and subtracting from the image of God, the infinite mind, which is already in us. Stop damming up our source. Stop interfering with it. Stop interfering with the flow. Get out of the way and let the abundance of God flow. Just declare that I'm one with infinite mind, and I'm going to let infinite mind flow. I'm going to let all abundance flow. I'm going to let Him be God. I'm going to let infinite mind be infinite, and just realize that we are already immortal, and we're already living now in a house of unending energy. And if you want to gain more energy, just realize, stop that all you have to do is stop interfering with the energy which you had in the beginning, and just let that energy flow. Let that energy be energy, and quit questioning it. Just let God be God and let energy be energy, and let it flow, and stop interfering with it, and stop making negative statements, stop thinking negative thoughts, stop fearing and stop doubting, start believing and start lifting your awareness, and start gaining more and more every day. Go over affirmations that says, I am one with infinite mind, I am one with energy, I have all energy, I have all power, I have all strength. And know that every one of those statements you say, have confidence in your mind that you're right when you say that. If you're saying that in your mind and believing that in your mind, God knows it even more so, and God's going to back you up. He's not going to let you down. See, we detract from my energy, because you'll say, well, I would say I'm all energy and I would say I'm all abundance, but God won't back me up. He'll let me down and I'll fall flat. No, that will not happen. God will back you up. And so because God's mind is one with your mind, and if you're saying that you have energy, and then you're saying that you have abundance, then also that's also God speaking in you and saying the same thing and witnessing with you, and you'll know, and he knows, and so we can embrace totally infinite mind and rise above all illness and lack. I have come, Jesus said, that they might have life and that more abundantly. That's immortality and have a more abundance. I'm come to make them aware of more abundance, to make you aware of more abundance. And so we can, so that you can rise above lack, you can rise above poverty, you can rise above all illness and sickness, and realize exactly what God is and what infinite mind is exactly, if you want to know the will of God, who is God and what is God? God is love, and God is power, and God is strength, and God is energy. So what is the will of God? The will of God is abundant energy, abundance of strength, abundant love, abundant power, abundance in every kind, everything abundant, everything powerful, everything strong, everything full of energy, all of those things. And the more of those things you have, the more you're in the will of God. Because that is the will of God cannot be different from what God Himself is. It cannot be the will of God for illness to reign in your life, because that is so infinitely opposite from God. And it cannot be the will of God for lack to reign in your life, because that dethrones God's abundance again. That subtracts from God's abundance. That makes God's abundance be a falsehood. That makes God's abundance be a lie. Illness makes God's health and overabundant health and strength and power and energy. Omnipotent. God is omnipotent, omniscient, and all present, all knowing, and all powerful. All present, all knowing, and all powerful. And so, how can we possibly think that we ought that it would be right for us to subtract away from total energy, total infinite energy, and total infinite power, and total infinite abundance, to bring ourselves down to a period to a place of lack, or a place of illness, or a place of pain, or these types of things. We need to ask ourselves anytime we want to find out what is really true, and what is really for us, and what really God wants us to have. Ask ourselves, what does God have, and what is God's real substance? Because we're one with the substance of God, and we're one with the mind of God, and so His will is for us to partake of who He is, partaking of who God is, embodying who God is, reflecting who God is, becoming who God is, becoming First John 3 and 2. We know not what we shall be, but we know that we'll be like Him, for we shall see Him as it is. The will of God is for us to see God as He is. The pure in the heart shall see God. Get the negativity off your mind, and you'll see God good. You'll see all good once you get all the negativity out of your mind. But we know not what we shall be, but we know that when we shall see Him, we will be like Him, for we shall see Him as He is. And so it's the will of God for us to be like Him, to be like what Jesus demonstrated. Jesus fully demonstrated God. It's God's will for us to be like that, to be able to heal the sick, and to be able to do those kinds of things. And it's the will of God that we be able to raise ourselves up above illness and sickness, because God is infinitely above illness and sickness, to raise ourselves into a place of recognizing all abundance, to raise ourselves to a place where we have all energy. We should never have to, every day we should be able to get up and say, I have total energy. I feel totally energetic, because what does God? God never tires. God never feels a sense of need of energy. God never has to. We never have to add to the energy of God. He never has to add to His energy. He never has to ask Himself whether or not He will have energy to get through the day. And so we need to fill ourselves with those thoughts. In other words, that God is full of, and reflect and image all of those things, because we are created in the image of God. And so you have a very good evening and fill yourself with the thoughts of good and power and of energy, and you'll have those things to be able to manifest what you want to manifest. Have a good evening.